it's me, Demetra Kaye of the Demetra Kaye Show, and the proud contributor of the African Diaspora News Channel and the African Diaspora News Insider. If you can do me a favor and subscribe to all channels and most definitely like this video, I would greatly appreciate it. And so just the other day, Barack Obama, during his podcast that's under his Obama's Higher Ground production company on Spotify, he sat down with Bruce Springsteen. And so it is actually a series of 8 interviews or podcasts that they're doing together called The Renegade. And during the second podcast, Bruce Springsteen and Barack Obama got into a conversation about reparations. And so check it out.
So if you ask me, theoretically, are reparations justified? The answer is yes. There's not much question, right? That the wealth of this country, the power of this country, was built in significant part, not exclusively, maybe not even the majority of it, but a large portion of it was built on the backs of slaves.
The White House, Mike.
They built the house I stayed in for a while. What is also true is that even after the end of formal slavery and the continuation of Jim Crow, the systematic oppression and discrimination of Black Americans resulted in Black families not being able to build up wealth, not being able to compete. And that has generational effects. So if you're thinking of what's just, you would look back and you would say the descendants of those who suffered those kinds of terrible, cruel, often arbitrary injustices deserve some sort of redress, some sort of compensation, a recognition.
All right. And so in that video, you heard former President Barack Obama explaining his newly found, stance on reparations. And so within that clip, you heard him, basically conceding the point that America was built on the backs of slaves and that, Black people, especially American descendants of slaves, should be paid something. Now, we know that wasn't always a Barack Obama stance. In fact, in 2008, during his campaign, he, was against reparations, didn't really see that it was feasible. Now, he also went on to say that because there was this conversation about welfare queens and the undeserving poor, and I'll read a quote that he said in regards to that. And so he says, the talk of welfare queens and the talk of the undeserving poor and the backlash against affirmative action, all that made the prospect of actually proposing any kind of coherent, meaningful reparations program struck me as politically not only a non-starter, but potentially counterproductive, Obama said. Now, you guys might remember back in, I don't know if you're around then, I was, in 1976, when Governor Ronald Reagan was running for president, he was going up against that of Gerald Ford. He brought up the term welfare queen in regards to a lady by the name of Linda Taylor. She had, built the welfare system to the tune of $150,000 per year, and she got caught and everything. So he, attached the term welfare queen to her. But unfortunately, that term was linked to single Black mothers. And so whenever you hear that term welfare queen, they usually mean single Black mothers. All right. And so then he also says, well, it would have been him touting that of reparations for his people, right? Would have been met with white resistance. And so what he meant by that is, let's see here. He says, so it's perfectly understandable why working class white folks, middle class white folks, folks who are having trouble paying the bills or dealing with student loans or don't have health care, where they feel government has let them down wouldn't be too thrilled with a massive program that is meant to deal with the past but isn't speaking to their future. So what I hear is when he, concedes the point that white people would have been mad, which, like, that's not a secret to any of us, right? But him being the first black president, you would have thought that would have been an automatic ask for him, for his people, right? But what he said but didn't say was that he was more concerned with appeasing white people than he was with helping black people, right? So he was more concerned with appeasing white people while using black people. And that's what he did, not only once, but twice. He used black people twice to get elected. You guys know that black people, and I was one of them twice. I'm not going to lie to kick it, right? I voted for Obama twice, and I'll keep it all the way 100 with you. It was really because he was a black man, all right? So I'm going to be honest with you. But, he used black people 2 times to get elected, and you guys know that black people voted for him overwhelmingly to the tune of, I think it was like 95, 96%, which is almost unheard of, right? But you guys also know we got nothing specifically in return for being so loyal to the first black president. And so here he is low-key admitting that I was more concerned with white people than I were you guys. And so if it meant being in bad standing with black people, oh well, right? I just really didn't want the white people to dislike me, right? So, if you catch what I'm saying, then it makes sense. All right. And so while it's nice to hear Obama say, oh yes, I think, black people should get reparations, it would have been much more nicer if he would have said it while he was president. In fact, when he had the ability, before the 2010 flip of the Senate and the House, when he actually had both, he could have, if he wanted to, went in with his handy-dandy executive pen and wrote up an order for reparations for black people here in America, but he didn't do that. And so I don't know how much good it does now that he's out of office, that he's admitting that black people in America deserve reparations due to all of the horrors that we've been through and all of the horrors that we are going through. And so to me, I guess Obama has some power. His boy, Joe Biden, is now in office, and he even brought up, Joe Biden is now for the study of reparations, when we know that Joe Biden says that I'd be damned if I'm held responsible for something my ancestors did, right? And so now everybody's having these, let's study it, let's look into it. And Obama's a scholar. He's very smart, Harvard educated and all that, this, that, and nothing in between. And he knows that the study is more symbolism. It's more that carrot on the string for black people. We'll dangle the carrot and, maybe let them get a little taste of it, but we'll never give it to them. That's what a study of reparations is. Obama's smart. He knows all about the institution of slavery. He knows that it's due us. And his boy, Abraham Lincoln, you guys have heard Obama speak about Abraham Lincoln a million times, like that's his hero. So he knows that, for the most part, Abraham Lincoln wanted us to have it. And, if he's well-versed on Abraham Lincoln, he knows about slavery and, the freeing of slaves. Even though Abraham Lincoln didn't free us because he loved us, he freed us to keep the Union together. But the point that I'm making with all of that is Obama's aware of reparations and why it's needed. He knows that there shouldn't be a study. And being that him and Biden are so close, you would think he'd be able to, get him on the phone and say, hey, yo, Joe, go on and hook my peoples up, right? So we'll wait and see, but don't hold your breath, right? So anyway, for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel and my channel, The Demetra Kaye Show, here on YouTube. Peace.